What is JVP or jugular venous pressure and how can we measure it? The jugular vein acts like a biological manometer, meaning it's a kind of manometer that shows us the pressure and volume changes on the right side of the heart, especially the right atrium. What are the steps for measuring JVP? To measure JVP, we place the patient in a supine position. We raise the head of the bed to about 45 degrees and then ask the patient to turn their head to the right so that we can easily observe the neck and its pulsation. First, we need to locate the SCM muscle. The SCM muscle, or sternocleidomastoid, is a muscle in the neck with one end attached to the mastoid bone behind the ear, and the other end has two heads. One attaches to the clavicle bone and the other to the manubrium bone. Like this, we can find the JVP pulse or the internal jugular vein on the inner surface of the SCM muscle between the thyroid cartilage or Adam's apple on one side and the inner edge of the SCM muscle. To measure the maximum JVP pulsation more accurately, we use a flashlight and shine the light obliquely onto the patient's neck. By adjusting the angle of the light, we can easily detect the JVP and the point of maximum pulsation. In the next step, we locate the Louis angle. When we palpate from top to bottom, this bony prominence can be clearly felt under our fingers, and in this patient, it is felt exactly beneath my fingertips. We call this the Louis angle. The distance from the Louis angle, that is this bony prominence, to the right atrium is 5 centimeters. Therefore, we add these 5 centimeters to the amount of JVP that can be detected and measured on the patient's neck. To measure the JVP, we use two rulers. We place the first ruler perpendicular to the Louis angle, and with the second ruler, we need to find the point of maximum pulsation on the patient's neck and hold it perpendicular to the first ruler like this. Once we've made it perpendicular to the first ruler, we measure the distance between the intersection of these two rulers and the surface of the skin. In a normal person, it should be a maximum of 3 centimeters, and when we add that to the 5 centimeters distance to the right atrium, it totals 8 centimeters. In other words, a normal JVP should be less than 8 centimeters of water. Each 1.36 centimeters of water is equivalent to 1 millimeter of mercury. In other words, 8 centimeters of water is equivalent to 5 millimeters of mercury. So a normal JVP should be less than 5 millimeters of mercury or less than 8 centimeters of water. If it is higher than this, it indicates elevated pressures on the right side of the heart. In other words, it indicates heart failure. If you found this video helpful so far, please like it and share it with your friends. And if you don't want to miss my future videos, please subscribe.